They look at the mountain and they ask why it doesn't move. They want the architecture without laying a single brick in the dirt. I don't bargain with gravity. I am the mountain, iron sovereign.
The monument is erected. Dr. Marcus, blueprint of the supreme architecture.
Yeah! We taking it all! Woo! I look at the blueprint I drew in the dark when the whole world was sleeping on me. Woo! They wanted the luxury lifestyle and status, but hated the price of their heavy decree. I walk in the building, the concrete is shifting. The power is purely design. I don't need a crumb of the gold from a jeweler. I force the whole grid to align. They talk about limits, they talk about budgets, they talk like they know what I built. But I stood in the furnace and melted the weakness away with the blood and the guilt. I'm carving my name in the bedrock of history, building a permanent tower and frame. You're looking for validation from passes while I am completely erasing the name. Laid in the brick, making it stick, hitting the clock to the vision and stick. They're giving me options, I look at the summit and choose the trajectory quick. Breaking the ceiling of industry standards, I operate solely go maximum scale. I've been the master of structural dominance, making it impossible, loving the veil. It's monumental, experimental, the level of focus is heavy inside of the soul. I'm breaking the boundaries of typical limits, demanding the absolute ultimate control. No, I'm a creator, a visual architect, staging a beautiful industrial dream. I'll shatter your concepts, I'm ripping the fabric and elevating the whole supreme. Iron survey, the architecture is divine. We standing unmovable on the ascension line. Iron survey, the glory was built in the dust. They can't even fathom the weight of the absolute trust. No settling, no folding, no weakness inside. We owning the empire and we owning the night. Look at the stadium filling with power, I'm turning the iron to beautiful art. They thought it was over, they thought I was finished, but this is the ultimate start. Elevating the platform, defying the culture, ignoring the typical average crowd. I'm bringing the thunder, the lightning, the majesty, making the ancestors proud. Nobody can replicate what I am creating. The legacy's locked in the stone. I stood in the wilderness, fought all the demons, and built this entire dominion alone. Look at the structures. I gave you the vision, the sacrifice, the blood on the pristine floor. I carried the heavy weight through the valley, opened the beautiful door. And what do I get? Temporary doubt. Fine. You want a monument? I'll build you a monument. I am the monarch, I'm building the shrine. I'm marking the borders of heavy design. I'm bringing the gospel of bargain, the power, and taking the summit at ultimate. I'm demolishing excuses and optical illusions, creating a massive artistic display. I'm causing a shift again, I strip the fusions and clearing the entire amateur array. Snap back to the vision, defying the gravity, bringing the absolute peak of the sound. Look at the majesty, it is a masterpiece. Nobody matching this sovereign ground. I am the Alpha Omega, releasing the light like a star in the middle of space. Unleashing the beast and I'm ready to conquer the entire titanium corporate place. Yes! Iron survey, the architecture is divine. We standing unmovable on the ascension line. Iron survey, the glory was built in the dust. They can't even fathom the weight of the absolute trust. Yeah, the architecture is complete. Dr. Marcus, the empire is set in iron. We're done here. They see the dark reflection, and they call it a shadow. They don't recognize. recognize the structural purity of a soul forged under extreme volcanic compression. I don't demand respect. I rule the arena. Obsidian reign.
The dark glass is sharpened. Dr. Marcus, cutting through the weakness with flawless precision.
I look at the landscape and see 1,000 pretenders chasing the temporary golden light, while I am anchoring my entire existence into the deepest obsidian foundation of the night. They wanted the throne without the pressure that turns the liquid stone to an unbreakable blade. I step on the platform, the atmosphere freezes, watching their fragile illusions start to fade. They calculate safety, terrified of the load, while I embrace the ultimate density of the grind, covering the flawless legacy out of the black rock, leaving the average minds completely behind. More than a stone, sitting alone, taking the crown of the titanium zone. They're giving me limits. I look at the empire, claiming the territory for my own, shattering every restriction, a typical volume. I operate solely on God's here command. I am the master of flawless persistence, enforcing my governance over the land. No, I'm an architect of volcanic designer, staging a beautiful industrial dream. Obsidian reign. The reflection is perfect and sharp. We marching through torment, ignoring the cry of the heart. Obsidian reign. The power was born in the heat. They can't even fathom the kingdom we finally complete.
Look at the blade. I gave you the density, the sacrifice,
The unyielding structure on the floor. I carried the heaviest burden through the valley, opened the beautiful door. You want an absolute empire? I'll give you an absolute empire. I am the monarch, I'm breaking the mold, I'm turning the blackout to absolute gold. I'm bringing the gospel of brutal conviction and taking the summit, get ultimate tower. Snap back to the vision, defying the gravity, bringing the absolute peak of the sound. Look at the majesty, it is a masterpiece. Nobody matching this sovereign ground. Yes, Obsidian reign. The reflection is perfect and sharp. We marching through torment, ignoring the cry of the heart. Obsidian reign. The power was born in the heat. They can't even fathom the kingdom we finally complete. Yeah. The glass never breaks. Dr. Marcus, sovereign. We're done here. They watch their lives slip away in the seconds. They want the eternal legacy, but fear the daily execution. I crush the timeline. Chrono crush.
The timeline bends, Dr. Marcus, shifting the cosmic era.
Yeah! Freeze the pendulum! Huh. Yeah. I look at the calendar, see that the moments they wasted while chasing a trend. They wanted decent and applause, but hated the centuries needed to truly ascend. I step into the arena, the matrix is slowing the time, and it's purely a weapon of mine. No fragile schedule here. I'm building a monument standing outside of the line. They calculate where, terrified of decay, while I'm deep in the lab with an infinite focus, carving an everlasting footprint in marble, commanding the entire generational scene. Breaking the dial, running the mile, building an empire with a permanent style. They're giving me deadlines. I look at the centuries, make the perspective work. worthwhile. Shattering every restriction and typical errors, I operate solely on God-given duration. I am the master of timeless persistence, delivering absolute structural creation. No, I'm an architect, a chronological engineer, staging a beautiful industrial dream. The timeline is rewritten. We stand in green by the future unbitten. The legacy is fogged in the years. They can't even fathom the conquest of fears.
Look at the clock. I gave you the decades, the sacrifice, the consistency on the floor. I carried the weight through the valley, opened the beautiful door. You want an eternal reign? I'll give you an eternal reign. I in the future, I'm breaking the glass. I'm shattering limits of ordinary class. I'm bringing the gospel of infinite power and taking the century at ultimate hour. Snap back to the vision, defying the gravity, bringing the absolute peak of the sound. Look at the majesty, it is a masterpiece. Nobody matching this sovereign ground. Yes! Chrono Crush! The timeline is rewritten. We stand in great by the future unbitten. Chrono Crush! The legacy is fogged in the years. They can't even fathom the conquest of fear. Yeah, the time has been conquered. Dr. Marcus, ageless. We're done here.
They look at the scales and they fear the heavy gravity. They want the presence without carrying the absolute density of the grind. I don't compromise with the load. Absolute mass.
The gravitational field collapses. Dr. Marcus, unyielding density shifts the axis.
Yeah! Feel the weight! Yeah! 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 I step into the center of the room and the floorboards instantly begin to strain. These hollow shadows trying to compete, but they lack the fiber in their vein. I pull the heavy universe toward me, locking down the foundational frame. No fragile architecture here, I'm building a titan that nothing can tame. They calculate the pressure in their books, terrified of the colossal displacement. While I'm deep in the shadows of the concrete, establishing a massive basement. Carving an undeniable presence out of granite, painting a dark cinematic screen. You're running from the load while I'm commanding the entire industrial scene. Loading the bar, becoming the star, pushing the boundaries incredibly far. They're giving me warnings, I look at the iron and smash through the corporate jaw. Shattering every standard, a typical volume. I operate on a monumental scale, like in the master of structural density, making it impossible for the frame to fail. It's physical, astronomical, the level of substance is heavy inside of the bone. I'm breaking the habits of ordinary limits, claiming this dark titanium throne. No, I'm an architect, the gravity engineer, staging a beautiful industrial dream. I'll shatter your concepts, I'm ripping the fabric and elevating the whole supreme. Absolute mass. The density is divine. We're standing unmovable on the ascension line. Absolute mass. The power was born in the Lord. They can't even fathom the weight on this road. No settling, no folding, no weakness inside. We own in the iron and we own in the night. Look at the stadium shaking with thunder as the heavy iron meets the base. They thought I would break under the pressure, but look at the empire I place. Elevating the structure, defying the weakness, ignoring the average crowd. I'm bringing the substance, the volume, the majesty, making the ancestors proud. Nobody can replicate, but I am building the legacies locked in the heavy stone. I stood in the center of the crushing vacuum and claimed this entire dominion alone.
Look at the scale. I gave you the density, the sacrifice, the unyielding structure on the pristine floor. I carried the heaviest burden through the valley, opened the beautiful door. And what do I get? Temporary doubt from the fragile minds. Fine. You
You want a total shutdown? I'll give you a total shutdown.
I'm building the shrine, I'm marking the borders of heavy design. I'm bringing the best full of absolute volume and shattering limits at ultimate pace. Demolishing excuses and mental pollution, creating a colossal panoramic rain. I'm causing a shift with industrial fusions and breaking the entire bandage of pain. Snap back to the vision, defying the gravity, bringing the absolute peak of the sound. Look at the majesty, it is a masterpiece. Nobody matching the sovereign crown. I am the Alpha Omega, releasing the light like a star in the middle of space. Corporate dominion is perfectly targeted, taking the entire titanium place. Is so powerful, we leaving the arena completely cowering and shaking. The substance is built to endure. They can't even match the intensity, so pure. Yeah. The density is absolute. Dr. Marcus, the mass cannot be moved.
We're done here.
Flesh is a temporary construct. It bruises, it tires, it begs for an exit when the pressure arrives. But when you replace the doubt with unyielding steel, you don't just survive the furnace, you dominate it. Metallic will.
The structural alloy is hardening. Dr. Marcus, unbreakable willpower forged in steel.
Try to manipulate and bend. They wanted the soft path, the easy road, pretending to be champions at the end. But I took the raw iron, threw it in the furnace, watched the liquid start to shine. Rebuilding the frame with an industrial mindset, forcing the entire world to align. They talk about exhaustion, they talk about genetics like they know the heavy strain. But I hardened the resolve, turning every single drop of sweat into a sovereign gain. I'm carving a monument out of pure titanium, painting up a dark cinematic frame. You're looking for sympathy in the shadows, while I am completely rewriting the game. Forging the steel, making it real, sealing the deals with a heavy industrial appeal. They giving me friction, I look at the platform and run it with absolute zeal. Shaking the foundations of typical standards like I parade solely on maximum force. I am the master of metallurgical focus, staying completely locked on the course. It's monumental, experimental, the level of iron is heavy inside of the chest. I'm breaking the boundaries of ordinary mortals, proving to the room I am the best. No, I'm a creator, a metallurgical architect, staging a beautiful industrial dream. I'll shatter your concepts, I'm ripping the fabric and elevating the whole supreme. Metallic will. The framework is unbending. We standing unmovable with power ending. The grip was born in the cold. They can't even fathom the architecture we hold. No settling, no folding, no weakness inside. We owning the empire and we owning the night. Look at the stadium filling with thunder, resist the titanium hits the concrete. They thought I would break, thought I would yield, but look at the empire I complete. Elevating the mindset, defying the doubts, ignoring the typical average sound. I'm bringing the pressure, the structure, the majesty, making this holy ground. Nobody can replicate what I am creating. The legacy's locked in the heavy design. I stood in the darkness, absorbed all the damage, and forced the entire grid to align.
Look at the scars. I gave you the blueprint, the sacrifice, the cold engineering on the pristine floor. I carried the heavy framework through the valley, opened the beautiful door. And what do I get? Temporary doubt from the amateurs. Fine. You want an unyielding force? I'll give you an unyielding force.
I am the anvil, I'm forging the steel, unlocking the gears of the destiny wheel. I'm bringing the gospel of border resistance and shattering limits at ultimate pace. Demolishing weakness and mental pollution, creating a colossal structural rain. I'm causing a clash for metallic solutions and breaking the entire bondage of pain. Snap back to the vision, defying the gravity, bringing the absolute peak in the sound. Look at the majesty, it is a masterpiece, already matching the sovereign ground. I can make Alpha Omega, releasing the light like a star in the middle of space. Unleashing the beast and I'm ready to conquer the entire titanium corporate place. Yes! Metallic will. The framework is unbending. We standing
turn to dust. But the skeletal frame carries the weight of a god long after the soft gone. I am unyielding posture, supreme calcium.
The skeletal grid is calcified. Dr. Marcus, structural engineering of unbreakable posture.
Yeah! Hard in the column! Yeah! I look at the chassis, look at the skeletal structure they tried to exhaust and break down. They wanted the posture of royalty but lacked the density to support the weight of the crown. I step in the arena, the columns are holding the framework is purely a fortress of mine. No fragile posture here, I'm building a temple that stands outside the borders of time. They calculate fatigue on the surface, terrified of the structural load on their knees. While I am reinforcing the marrow, cementing the pillars, ignoring the minor pleas. Carving an absolute mineral fortress, painting a dark cinematic screen for the blind. You're treating the symptoms of weakness while I am re-engineering the spine. Hardening lines, strengthening spines, building the frame where the victory shines. They're giving me frictions, I look at the platform and leave all their fragile designs. Shattering every restriction of typical density, I operate solely on God's hair frame. I am the master of structural governance, permanently locking my grip on the game. No, I'm an architect, a skeletal designer staging a beautiful industrial dream. Supreme calcium, the white iron inside the core. We standing maximum, locking the soul-bearing floor. Supreme calcium, the chassis is deeply fortified. They can't even witness the embedded element of pride.
Look at the posture. I gave you the density, the sacrifice, the unyielding columns on the floor. I carried the heaviest infrastructure through the valley, opened the beautiful door. You want an unbreakable chassis? I'll give you an unbreakable chassis.
I am the pillar, I'm holding the roof, I'm proving the power with permanent proof. I'm bringing the gospel of mineral fusions and taking the summit at ultimate hour. Step back to the vision, defying the gravity, bringing the absolute peak of the sound. Look at the majesty, it is a masterpiece. Nobody matching this sovereign ground. Yes! Supreme calcium, the white iron inside the core. We standing maximum, locking the soul-bearing floor. Supreme calcium, the chassis is deeply fortified. They can't even witness the embedded elements of pride.
Yeah, the frame never bends. Dr. Marcus, calcified resolve. We're done here.
The earth doesn't ask for permission to move. It builds the pressure in silence until the entire landscape has to adapt. I am the seismic shift, tectonic force.
The continental plates are fracturing. Dr. Marcus, releasing a shockwave of supreme dominance.
Yeah! Shake the foundation! Hey, hey, hey! Yeah! I look at the foundation and I see the fractures they tried so hard to cover and conceal. They wanted a stable ground to stand on without understanding the weight of what is real. I step in the arena, the bedrock is trembling, the vibration belongs to my name. No shallow tremors here, I'm causing an earthquake that permanently breaks the game. They calculate safety on a fragile crust, terrified of the underground
pull the fault line, making the entire platform my own. Shattering every restriction of typical pressure. I operate solely on planet scale force. I am the master of seismic momentum, keeping the heavyweights locked on the course. No, I'm an architect, a crustal engineer, staging a beautiful industrial dream. Tectonic force. The bedrock is shattered and split. We marching unbroken, reusing the fire we lit. Tectonic force. The movements alter the map. They can't even escape the massive power of calling to plan.
You felt the tremor. I gave you the shockwave, the warning, the ultimate structural shift on the floor. I carried the heaviest continent through the valley. Opened the beautiful door. You want an absolute eruption? I'll give you an absolute eruption.
I am the seismic, I'm shifting the crust, I'm turning their castles to rubble and dust. I'm bringing the gospel of fault line destruction and taking the apex, it ultimate hour. Snap back to the division, defying the gravity, bringing the absolute peak of the sound. Look at the majesty, it is a masterpiece, nobody matching this sovereign ground. Yes! Tectonic force. The bedrock is shattered and split. We marching unbroken, reusing the fire we lit. Tectonic force. The movements alter the map. They can't even escape the massive power according to plan. Yeah. The ground has been altered. Dr.Marcus, seismic. We're done here. Done here. Done here. Done here. Done here.
They drift through the chaos, looking at every minor distraction. They want the Titanic vision, but their eyes wander every single second. I lock my vision on the destination. Titanic focus.
The lens is calibrated. Dr. Marcus, absolute precision, locking onto the target.
Yeah! Clear the vision!
I step inside the arena and I see the entire crowd drifting away in the noise. They're chasing temporary shadows while I'm building an empire using my voice. Isolate the target, shut down the external world, locking a mind in a box. Building a monumental standard that survives every single environmental shock. They talk about attention, they talk about options like they have choices to make. But I saw the grand destination and took the path that the amateurs break. I'm carving an ultimate vision out of obsidian, painting a dark cinematic frame. You're blinding your eyes with illusions while I am completely securing the name. Like in the sight, shining the light, running the platform with absolute might. They giving me static, I look at the future and make the trajectory right. Shattering the illusion, the typical boundaries, I operate solely on God-tier view. I am the master of singular target, making the dream hit the absolute truth. It's monumental, experimental, the level of focus is deep in the chest. I'm breaking the habits of ordinary mortals, proving to the arena I am the best. No, I'm a visionary and mental architect, staging a beautiful industrial dream. Oh, I'll shatter your concepts, I'm ripping the fabric and elevating the whole supreme. Titanic focus. The vision is crystal clear, we walking unmovable, destroying every fear. The light was born in the dark, they can't even fathom the target we mark. No settling, no folding, no weakness inside. We owning the target, and we own in the night. Look at the stadium filling with power as the precision aligns with the soul. They thought I would wander, they thought I would blind, but look at the absolute total control. Elevating the perspective, defying the noise, ignoring the typical average crowd. I'm bringing the clarity, the structure, the majesty, making the ancestors proud. Nobody can replicate what I am executing, the legacy's locked in the laser design. I stood in the silence, ignored all the static, and forced the entire grid to align.
Look at the target. I gave you the blueprint to sacrifice, the absolute tunnel vision on the pristine floor. I carried the heavy concentration through the valley, opened the beautiful door. And what do I get? Temporary doubt from the scattered minds. Fine. You want an absolute lock? I'll give you an absolute lock.
Another laser, I'm burning the line. I'm locking the side of the heavy design. I'm bringing the gospel of pure concentration and shattering limits at ultimate pace, demolishing noise and mental pollution, creating a colossal panoramic rain. I'm causing a shift with titanic solutions and breaking the entire bondage of pain. Snap back to the vision of fighting the gravity, bringing the absolute peak of the sound. Look at the majesty, it is a masterpiece, nobody matching this sovereign crown. Like on the Alpha Omega, releasing the light like a star in the middle of space. Corporate dominion is perfectly targeted, taking the entire titanium place. Yes! Titanic focus. The vision is crystal clear. We walking unmovable, destroying everything. The light was born in the dark. They can't even fathom the target we mark. Yeah, the vision is locked.
Dr. Marcus. The focus is absolute. We're done here.
They watch the smoke rise from the valley and they panic. They don't understand the years of compression under the surface. You wanted the warmth without ever stepping into the fire. I am the eruption, volcanic apex.
The magma chamber is overflowing. Dr. Marcus, erupting with absolute tectonic dominance.
Yeah! Fire on the mountain! I spent a lifetime burying the pressure deep inside the dark tectonic plates, while everybody else was playing safe and celebrating all their minor traits. I felt the temperature ascending to a level that they couldn't stand, converting all their heavy carbon to a weapon that would dominate the land. Yeah. They talk about the heat, but they have never seen a mountain open up its chest. I'm melting down the limitations, proving to the world that I am not the rest. I'm carving rivers out of molten liquid, painting up a dark cinematic frame. Yeah, you're playing in the ashes of the past while I'm setting fire to the game. Oh! Fueling the core, hitting the floor, breaking the door of the corporate store. They're giving me warnings, I look at the summit and give them a mother reward. Shaking the bedrock at typical standards, I operate solely on maximum peak. I am the master of thermal explosion, destroying the soft and the weak. It's monumental experiment to the level of fire is heavy inside of the soul. I'm breaking the boundaries of human capacity, taking the ultimate total control. No, I'm a visionary, a volcanic architect, staging a beautiful industrial dream. I'll shatter your concepts, I'm ripping the fabric, and elevating the whole supreme. Volcanic apex, the eruption is divine. We melting every obstacle on the ascension line. Volcanic apex, the fury was built in the deep. They can't even fathom the crown that we reap. No settling, no folding, no weakness inside. We own in the mountain and we own in the night.
Look at the stadium filling with smoke as the magma is touching the sky. They thought it was over, they thought I was finished, but look at the levels I fly. Elevating the platform, defying the culture, ignoring the typical average crowd. I'm bringing the lava, the thunder, the majesty, making the ancestors proud. Nobody can replicate what I am creating, the legacy's locked in the burning stone. I stood in the furnace, absorbed all the fire, and built this entire dominion alone. Look at the peak, I gave you the warning, the calculus of heat, the pressure on the pristine floor. I carried the burning magma through the valley, open the beautiful door. And what do I get? Temporary doubt from the crowd. Fine. You want an explosion? I'll give you an explosion.
I am the summit, I'm burning the shrine. I'm marking the borders of heavy design. I'm bringing the gospel of fire and power and taking the apex at ultimate hour, demolishing excuses and optical illusions. fusions, creating the massive artistic display. I'm causing the shift with industrial fusions and clearing the entire amateur array. Snap back to the vision, defying the gravity, bringing the absolute peak of the sound. Looking the majestic in is a masterpiece, nobody matching the sovereign crown. I am the alpha omega, releasing the light like a star in the middle of space, unleashing the beast, and I'm ready to conquer the entire titanium corporate place. Yes! Volcanic apex, the eruption is divine. We're melting every obstacle on the ascension line. Volcanic apex, the fury was built in the deep. They can't even fathom the crown that we're in.
Yeah, the temperature is absolute. Dr. Marcus, the summit belongs to the fire. We're done here.
Yeah. They told me the vision was too big. I told them their screens were too small. Look at the masterpiece.
I stepped in the Louvre and they asked for my ID. Told the security, check the new deity. Paparazzi flashing, blinding my retinas. I'm designing the future, y'all stuck in the replicas. Tailored suits from Milano, I bleed in the fabric. Every beat that I touch turns to absolute magic. Critics writing their essays, dissecting my commas while I'm boarding the jet to escape all the drama. They want to own me the polo and backpack, but I evolved to a god, you can't put a cap on that. Speaking in cursive, my thoughts are symmetric. Even my flaws are considered aesthetic. Raise up the banners, the stadium's glowing. Look at the genius, the canvas is showing. I wrestle with angels to bring you this audio. Architect building a brand new portfolio. No apologies left, I gave you my soul. I paid every price, I swallowed the toll. Boardrooms are quiet when I take a seat. Billionaire status, I walk on the street. Media twisting the words that I utter. I rise from the mud and I shine in the gutter. Diamonds are flawless, my mental is heavy. Holding the weight of the culture, I'm ready. Fashion week, Paris, I dictate the season. Y'all chasing the trends, I'm supplying the reason. Shatter the glass ceiling, walk on the shards. I dealt my own hand, I didn't need their cards. Late night in the studio, redefining the sound. Building an empire straight from the ground. Shadows creeping through the night.
I gave them the truth, they handed me lies.
But eagles don't care about flies, yeah. Eagles don't care about the noise. Wake up the masses, the sermon is starting. Red Sea of the industry, watch how it's parting. I am the culture, the pulse in the vein. Dancing in fire and standing in rain. Picasso with plugins, Mozart with the mic. Doing exactly whatever I like. History books gonna spell out my name. I didn't just play, I reinvented the game. Light up the sky, let the universe witness. Masterclass session of musical fitness. I fought with the demons to capture this frequency. Operating on a whole different decency. Nothing to hide, I bleed on the track. Crossed over the line and I'm never going back.
We made it out the simulation.
We made it out the simulation.
They tried to box the universe.
You're welcome.